Hello guys, I just finished my last video, but it should have been one day since the last day I post my videos. But if you didn't watch my last video, it was one day ago, and I posted another video. So the first one was chapter 1 to 5, and then chapter 6 to 8. And then now we are doing chapter 9 to 10. I should have been doing this tomorrow, but I thought doing it but I thought yeah. I did two others yesterday, right? So it wouldn't hurt if I did this one today. So, and I'm also, if I have more time, I'm also gonna try reading this to you guys because it's kind of really nice. Yeah, there it is. Piggy, chapter 9, Wolfster. A day after, Piggy and the gods agreed to never hurt each other again. Frieza asked, "Did you really have to do that, Piggy? I mean, the gods did kill Edward once." Piggy said, uh, Piggy said she learned to forgive a long time ago. Mousie said, "Let's go to the grave of those who have fought and died. I just hope another villain does not come." Before she could finish, a wolfman named Wolfter broke the door and tried to arrest Piggy. After a moment, Frieza jumped in and knocked him unconscious. Frieza mocked him for being weak and lent him a hand and said, "Come on, you can't even defeat me. You can't defeat even me. Journey with us and become stronger." It took a moment, but Wolfster accepted. Two others named George and Kozo came. Mousie then said, "Kozo? You disappeared 2 years ago." Kozo explained he didn't defeat Kaido. He only took him to another dimension where they fought for 2 whole years. Everyone understood they left to find a specific person named Daiko, who apparently was looking for his brother's murder, and he had a bounty on him for about 6,560,345,088. Meanwhile, Kozo was humiliated because he had to fight Kaido's brother, and it would take him so long. Oops, why do I keep making mistakes here? But Piggy assured him it would take less or more than a day. Kozo was relieved. Then the ground rumbled and Daiko smashed the ground. Frieza jumped, then shot a gold death beam. But Daiko easily kicked both Frieza and the beam. Then Piggy, Edward, Mousie, Wolfster, and Kozo, they battled for a long time. Like everyone used their most powerful ability. Frieza used Gold Death Ball. Piggy used Spirit Bomb. Kozo used Onigiri. Edward punched him so hard he flew back just 2 feet and stood up and punched Edward. And Daiko said, "Pathetic, weak, and unworthy." Edward replied back, "I do not care about your compliments. Keep them to yourself." Daiko laughed as he heard him say those words. Enraged, Kozo and Piggy both attacked Daiko. Daiko kicked both Piggy and Kozo, but Kozo used a magical ball to summon Kaido and fight his brother. Daiko had to defend himself, as he did not want to hurt his brother. His only goal was to avenge him, not to kill him. Kaido turned his brother into stone and told them that it would only last 2 weeks and 4 days until he turned back to normal. In that time, Kozo, Wolfster, George, Piggy, Frieza, and Mousy trained to become stronger. Kozo practiced 12 sword style, while the others practiced other abilities. Soon Daiko awakened again, and everyone took positions. Wolfster jumped in and threw kicks and smashes. Daiko barely survived one attack. They both unleashed a fury of attack. By the time they both finished, both of them were exhausted. Wolfster fell to the ground, but Mousy came to his aid and cleaned Where's clean? Bah. Cleaned his wounds. Piggy, Kozo, George came to fight in Wolfster's place. Piggy unleashed her first form, Raijikin, and Kozo used 12 sword style. Kozo screamed as he used so much power. Daiko was dead, and Kozo's breath was so fast that it was fast as 100 RPM. I mean, okay, you know what, whatever. But Daiko died, and they soon realized the high bounty was for his murders. When Piggy saw his killed, she was traumatized and fell to the ground, but knew they would be chased by Yakumo. The end. Chapter 10, coming soon. Oh, that only took 7 minutes. I think we actually might have time for the other one. But I think that's... yeah. Where's chapter 10? Wait, what? Where's chapter 10? Yeah, there it is. Chapter 10, New Infection. After the team had defeated Daiko, several news reports popped up in the news saying an infection had come. And Piggy said, again? Wolfster thought it would be another boring day. Why is it so boring? But my life is boring. Where it would be easy to arrest someone, but Piggy said that it would be no easy task. Wolfster's eyes shined like a bright star when he heard those words. He immediately went out, but Piggy stopped him, as this would be a very hard task. They all went to the old abandoned factory for the 4th time, but they saw nothing unusual until they saw a small building still standing. They all agreed to split up. Koza went to experiment room 242 and found the infection tube. Immediately ran to tell the others that someone was still here other than us. After everyone heard this, they immediately split up again to find this person. Piggy went inside experiment 242 and the infection tube like Kozo did. Piggy saw that. It was red, and beside it, it was green infection, like the one that was used to make the rat infection. Except Zizzy was inside. Piggy immediately broke the glass and looked at Zizzy's body to look if she was breathing. At first, she didn't breathe, but then she started heaving huge breaths. Piggy looked around to see if there was a walkie-talkie, because Kozo had one. But to her surprise, she found it on her pocket, except it was attached to a tracker, or the tracker was attached to the walkie-talkie. So Piggy took off the tracker and informed Kozo to tell everyone that she found something, while also saying that he had a tracker on his walkie-talkie. Right after she said that, the signal cut. When everyone gathered again, Piggy holded the body of Zizzy. George asked, "Who is that?" Piggy told the story that she went missing after they defeated Kaido. Piggy said that they would need at least 2 people to take care of Zizzy. So George and Edward were assigned for that. Piggy went with Kozo and Wolfster to find something else, but for hours and hours they only found out that the scientist who created them was the brother of who created this infection. Right then the wall behind them broke into a million pieces as if it were glass. And when it shredded, the one who was standing there was none other than Piggy. Wolfster then looked enraged so much his body awakened the form Blood Wolf. He leaped at Piggy, and the fight was with kicks, punches, and a lot of talking. As they were fighting, Wolfster shouted, "What you did that day is unforgivable!" Piggy replied, "Oh, really? What I did that day was fun." Ha 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 ha! Wolfster then used up all his force to slice Piggy into a million pieces and then obliterated her to dust. Piggy then asked what he was talking about. Wolfster explained that she had first destroyed his home, then killed everyone, and finally killed his parents. But she was so evil, she left him alive to see the pain she would have. Piggy agreed it was cold-blooded, and then came back to see Zizzy's condition. They saw she was in good condition, and they left to get rest. After 6 hours of sleep, the team searched this for this person and to find out why he would trap Zizzy. Wolfster then went to one place he was connected with, his home. He found the corpse of his parents lying there. So he took a moment to mourn their deaths and remember the past. Piggy put her hand on his left shoulder, which comforted him. They began the search but found almost nothing but a clue that the scientists lived in the forest camp. So they all headed to the forest camp. They all agreed to split up. Wolfster and Kozo went north, while Piggy and Edward went south. Zizzy and Mousy to the east, George to the west. Piggy found a house that didn't have a single scratch or burn mark on. So they checked it. It had blood, arms, legs, and more grooves and stuff. But they checked the second floor to see some broken toys, which they found out later to be Wolfster's house. They also found a secret passage through the bookshelf and found the scientist who was responsible for this. Piggy told Edward to go tell the others. He agreed and went to tell the others. Piggy told him to raise his hand up, but he did not though. So Piggy charged at him. But then he turned beside him, and Dikaru shot a lightning bolt at her. She dodged it in the nick of time, but he charged at Piggy, and they both clashed at each other. Piggy asked him why did he not keep his promise. He replied, "Because I cannot live with a failure like losing to a puny mortal." Enraged that he said puny to mortal beings, she unleashed her first form and used the attack God Slicing Spree, and Dikaru was sliced in half and did not return as he did not have more than one life. Wolfster, Zizzy, Kozo, and Mousy arrived to see that Piggy had killed Dikaru. Then Piggy fell to the ground as she felt dizzy. She fell to the ground. Next thing you know, she's at the hospital. The end. Chapter 11, coming soon. So I guess we have more time to read the other story I created. This one. So this is actually a true story, but I actually recreated it. And then in chapter 3, what really was? Yeah, I just made a story. It all now here I go. It all started when Lubu and Yifan went on a spaceship. After going up to space, they were very happy, but that did not last long, as there were only 376 miles left to land. Suddenly, they lost communications, and their status was not visible. Suddenly, red beeps came, which meant something was wrong. They sent an investigation team of what happened. After landing on the moon, the comms asked what they saw, and they paused for a moment. One of the investigators, named Judas, said that the spaceship had crashed and there were no bodies of the two people. So they decided to go back to Earth and look at the replay file on the ship. So they went back to Earth, and when they did look at it, they realized that Lubu had accidentally put 47 firepower when they needed 63%, and had the sound of something like a monster. Now they knew they had to be more careful while on flight. But why did they not land? Ooh, what a question. Wow. What kind of question is this? I'm so curious. Yes. End of chapter 1. Chapter 2 coming soon. Chapter 2 intro. Last time we ended up with a question, and now we are going to answer it. And more. Characters, 27 communicators, 4 investigators, and a spaceship. I know why I put spaceship, because it's not a person. Chapter 2. The hard part begins. When everyone got that question, they decided to look at the ship again. To their surprise, they found the metal clock in one of the engines. But then they found 4 more pieces of metal. And then they questioned why they could not have known about the clock, and how did it even get there. They realized that they were too small for the system to detect it. They then also got informed or called by the communicators that Lubu and Yifan encountered a creature that looked like an animal that could change color before they died. They soon found out that the creature was the cause of the clog, and then they heard a growl. They immediately set their guards up. And then Judas got pulled and eaten. It explained why Yifan's and Lubu's bodies were hidden. 2 investigators used guns, but the other had an injection and stabbed the creature, which killed it. They mourned the death of this dead investigator for a few minutes. They decided to make it a law that spaceships should be taken care of and guarded heavily. There will be 21 or 12 people who guard on every ship that launches, and 4 people driving the ship. It has 2 captains and 2 drivers. It had become 1997 by then already. When the 3 went to the grave of Judas, one investigator asked, "How did you know that it would happen?" Which he said, I already heard the sound of growling, and I don't want to scare anyone," which was my biggest mistake. He lowered his head with guilt, yet still has to live another day. The end. And it has exactly been 19 minutes after I finished that. And now guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Yes. And also, bye-bye. And make sure to see another YouTube channel. It's called You Call Me Joy and Chill with Harini. Many of you might already know.